I'm on the air? Oh. Oh, well. Oh, doggone. This is a program. This is the backup show. This isn't supposed to go on the air this week. It's not the one that we had scheduled. This backup show is supposed to be used only if there's a satellite uplink problem or some other goof. There must have been. Tell you what. Well, we're going to give you, to make the half hour worthwhile, we're going to show you some of the most memorable features we've had on Michigan Outdoors. In fact, let's start off with that one, that interesting encounter with a white-tailed deer that apparently ducked the arrow when I shot. Remember that one? Well, then we'll relive the excitement. That morning, the cameras were rolling. We hooked 5 salmon at once. Oh boy, what a day that was. Then we're going to join Bob Garner for some quiet, heart-pounding excitement when he calls in Tom Turkey in close. It's going to be an action-packed half hour, so stay tuned. It's Thursday night, backup show night on Michigan Outdoors.
You're looking at one of the most historic moments from our Michigan Outdoors tape library, the evening of opening day of bow season, 1984, Lost Arrow Lodge in Gladwin. I'm in a tree stand in the upper left, and I take a shot at the spike-horn buck at the lower right. Well, I missed right there, no doubt about that. The doubt is, why? We'll take another look at the sequence, this time in slow motion. Now watch the deer. Interesting, huh? Well, it apparently ducked the arrow. Now we'll slow it down a little bit more, and if your TV set is good quality, you'll be able to see the arrow. It's a small streak of white over the buck's back. Can you see it right there? Now look at that deer squat. Now there's the arrow. Many bow hunters said the deer saw my arrow coming and ducked, but I disagree. That deer never saw anything. My proof? Well, here we are at dawn. Earlier that day, the same setup. A smaller buck came past my stand just after sunrise. This was a button buck. Too small. I had no interest in taking a shot, so I just watched. It ambled on in, feeding, walking, looking, and listening, and I was watching from the tree. My feet were crossed, bow on my lap, not making a sound or moving at all. This little buck was using all its senses. Its eyes to watch for unusual movements, something that might be a threat. Those big ears, 24 square inches of reflective surface per ear, compared with 3.5 inches per ear for humans. The deer's ears swivel like radar, and in a moment, a noise in a nearby tree is going to spook this little buck. I want you to watch how he moves. Remember how that spike buck moved when he heard my bowstring? Watch this. Oh, that was fast, but let's go back. Remember, there was no arrow, just a noise. And watch the buck as he squats down half his normal height. Now that's what he has to do in order to get a good spring to jump away. There he is standing up at full height. The noise? He drops down, rolls his shoulders, and pushes off. The exact same motion the other deer used when I shot the arrow. That it gave the illusion that the deer ducked the arrow. In reality, he was just reacting to the sound. That's how deer always react when they're startled. Now he's alert, gathers his wits, his ears picking up any other clues. He stomps his foot. That sends out a vibration in the ground that other deer can feel through their sensitive hooves. There's another stomp right there. He walks forward. He doesn't see, hear, or smell any danger. Now the signal that this is a false alarm is its tail. There, a little flip of the tail. The all-clear signal that nothing's been discovered, so it's back to eating. But don't be fooled. That little buck is still swiveling its ears, watching all around, and especially working its nose to smell danger. For a study in smell, let's go to the Houghton Lake Deer Research Station. Here's a big buck with a group of does. In situations like this, the bucks act independently. Now, saying that they're leading the does and fawns is giving him much too much credit. Actually, they don't care at all about the other deer. He's concerned about us, our cameras. We're about 75 yards away using a telephoto lens. The wind is swirling around, blowing hard, making it difficult for the deer to get a good scent. And it's only through scent that a deer can positively identify danger. Danger to them is the smell of an animal that eats meat, one that gives off those meat-eating amino acid odors. That's the danger signal to deer, whether it's the smell of a dog or a mountain lion, a wolf, bear, or a human. It makes no difference to a deer. We all eat meat, and we all eat deer. If we have the opportunity to sniff the wind better, the deer often does this. Now watch. See that? Now, I'm not talking about moving its ear. Watch its tongue. There it goes. It licked its nose. Deer do that when they're trying hard to get a better whiff. Understanding how deer use their sense of smell and what conditions they prefer can give you some good clues as to how to be a more successful hunter. Now, big bucks like this have unusually sharp senses, quick reflexes, solitary habits. And little bucks, like this one here in the shadows, will only grow up to be a big buck if it has those kind of abilities too. I'm taking these tapes from a tree stand back at Lost Arrow Lodge one evening last October, a day typical of the weather we've been having lately, windy, rainy, it's dark, the deer are beginning to stir, but when the conditions are like this, deer aren't that comfortable about moving. Take their ears, for example. With all the wind blowing through the leaves, they can't hear much. Or should I say, they hear everything with those big ears. Nothing but noise, and that's disconcerting to a deer. With their big eyes to look around, they can see nearly 360 degrees. They see nothing but motion. All the leaves, all the limbs, everything's moving. My tree stand right there is moving. I can't hold the camera steady. And how can they pick out danger? Well, it's tough. That's why they stand still. Their noses, well, that's what they need to pick out the danger. There's problems there, too. The odors have to be mixed or dissolved with moisture. About 50 to 70% humidity is ideal. The moist air molecules hits the most moist nose of a deer, the scent pops through. That's how deer read the wind. When it's raining or snowing like it is here, the scents are diluted, dissipated in the raindrops, and fall to the ground. Same way with fog or a light mist. The scent can't travel far. That makes the deer a little jumpy, so they don't move in conditions like this, except to thicker cover, to hold tight, waiting for the wind to die down and the rain to stop. And when that happens, we see all the same characteristics that we always see in the deer. Here he comes. Its tail says it's all clear, but before it steps into the clearing, it wants a better whiff. Did you see that? Let's back up. It licked its nose, put more moisture by its nostrils to trap a few more molecules from the air. Didn't detect danger, so it moves on. But wait a minute, it's not going to let its guard down. This buck has all the characteristics of a survivor. Sharp senses, nervous, solitary, constantly licking its nose to test the wind, guard for a meat eater of any kind. That's how those little nubbins on this buck might grow up to be a big rack someday in Michigan outdoors.
A DNR hunting regulation says that bow hunting from permanent tree stands is illegal. Tree stands must be portable. And Gordon Phillips from Springport comments, "In my opinion, none of them have been safe. At 49, the last thing I need is to fall out of a tree. On your program, you showed a stand in a clump of birches in a beautiful setting. Are these permanent stands illegal?" Well, this permanent tree stand was built by Avery Sterling on his property at Lost Arrow Lodge. And according to DNR Law Division Chief Herb Burns, the DNR will not write tickets for nailing a tree stand to a tree on private property. Public land, yes, it would be illegal.
Leaving the harbor at St. Joe, we expected howling winds and high waves, but as it often happens, the lake really wasn't that bad, and it got calmer as the morning wore on. It was 7:15 in the morning. Pete Rubianis had set the lines only moments before, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to explain to Joanne, who had never caught anything larger than an 8-inch bluegill, how these downriggers worked with our trolling lures.
Lures like this. And we're running out about, let's see, how many rods do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9 or 10 rods. And most of them have, each of them runs a lure, something like this. And that imitates an alewife or a smelt down there that the salmon are going to be going after. You know how big these fish are going to be?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, we're probably going to average 10, 12 pounds. What do you think about that?
Do I have to pull it in?
Yes, that's the whole idea. You know how we get
No.
you know how we get these lures down here at the bottom? All these big reels that you see along here are downriggers, and there's a wire cable running off of them, and this is the weight we put on. You want to hold that?
Fish on.
We got a fish on. We'll hold it right here in the middle. Kathy Beitler, here, take it, Joanne. Let's give it to Joanne. Now the excitement begins. I tell you, there's no telling. We're trying to tell the story of downriggers here. Would you hold that weight there? How you like it, Joanne?
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, now you have to keep your rod tip up. You see, don't point the rod at the fish because it can get off that way. So keep the rod tip as high as you can. Put your hand up here. Your one hand up there. There.
Okay.
See, because the rod is doing all the work. Well, not all the work, but it's taking the shock of the fish. Boy, we're right in here close. Pete, this must have been a shallow water hit. Keep that rod tip up. Keep it up. This is Joanne's first salmon. There we go. Look at him. Now that's not a real big one. That might be a coho.
Just lift him right over here in this corner over here.
Okay. Lean back, Joanne, and bring your rod tip back. There you go. Huh? Look at this.
In a matter of minutes, we had our first 2 salmon in the box, and our hopes were high for a good morning. Twice before, we've taken out the Michigan Outdoors cameras with Pete Rubianis, and both times we've limited out. Little did we know, though, that in the next 5 minutes, a flurry of fish would hit. 5 of them! We'd almost run out of anglers to take the rods. What you're going to see is highlights of this mayhem, and for the sake of time, we've edited this sequence a little bit, but this is what can happen when you hit a hot school of salmon, and they're all hungry.
You know, when we started doing that taping, when was that, Joanne? That was, you remember the time?
Even just a few minutes ago.
That was 7:15, and now it is 8 minutes later. You're on your second fish. We have 2 in the box.
This is great.
Come around and get a look at her face. Watch she cranking this.
This one's bigger. It is.
You gotta talk
It
to
is?
him now.
Yeah, you gotta talk to him. Keep your rod up. I never realized you were so smiley this early in the morning. Oh, what? We got another one? Okay, well here. Here, I'll take it. No, we'll give it to Kathy. That's right. I'll take the next one. We'll see if now we got a double header.
This one's bigger too.
It is. We're into the kings now. Oh, I'll take this one.
You gotta go under her, Fred. Under her.
Under her?
He's gone. He's gone.
No, is he? No, he isn't. Oh, look at this back here, OJ. We got 3 fish on. Who's going to hold the microphone? You want to hold the microphone, Pete? I don't know how we do this. What do you mean everything's all screwed up here? We're catching fish and having fun, aren't we?
There's a fish right here.
Right here. Carl, this is yours. We have 4 salmon on at once. And Bob Garner has finally got the net free.
Who's first?
Who's first? Well,
Come on, Bob, get the net
come on,
over
Bob,
there,
get the
Bob.
net down there. All right.
Lift up, Bob.
Okay.
All right, don't take it away.
There's one aboard, and we got 3 more on right now.
Here, 2
Oh, we got another one. This is 5 in a row.
Huh? Don't holler at me. I don't know what to do now. Okay.
You know, it isn't even 7:30 yet. It's been 15 minutes since the first fish is on. We have 3 in the boat and 4 of them on right now.
Oh, he's gonna get
Oh, it's a king. It's a king. Look at this one, OJ. Look at that
him
one.
up. Lift him up.
Lift. Lift, Joanne. Lift him.
Oh, good.
Look at that one splash. Look back here. OJ, look.
Let go, let go.
Joanne. What, are we
Oh,
losing?
get in gear. Get in gear.
Still got him on?
No, he broke the line off the cage.
He broke the line.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we got 2 of them in the boat out of 3. We only lost 1 in that group. That means it's 7:32 right now. We have 4 aboard. We've had the line set about 20 minutes.
Oh, don't get him up there yet. Let me get this net straight now.
See, we got it.
Just keep the tension on him.
You only have 1 net, Pete?
I got another net. I ain't had time to get it out, though.
Now this is your biggest fish,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is.
One more time. Drop and reel right to the fish.
Now pull back. Pull back. There we go.
Oh,
We got 3 out of 4.
Who get that?
4 out of
Turn
5.
this up.
And here it
man.
comes. Look at the size of
Look
that
at it.
Kathy.
oh, wow.
Well, we voted 4 out of the 5, which is amazing considering all the crossed lines and tangled cables. This was an experience of a lifetime for all of us. Our hearts were pounding and the excitement was as high as it ever gets fishing for salmon. But I gotta hand it to Captain Pete Rubianis. He did it again. We limited out for the 3rd fishing trip in a row.
It's called salmon broccoli cheese bake, and I think it's the closest thing to a perfect recipe I've ever seen. Patricia Ware from Hastings sent it in, and it had to be a very close contender as a finalist in our recipe contest.
It was.
This is amazing stuff. Like it says, it has broccoli, salmon,
Something
cheese.
you don't normally find in a casserole like that.
No, it has all kinds. It has tomatoes, onions,
White pepper,
eggs.
and the biscuit. And broccoli. Like I say, you don't normally find a vegetable in a fish dish.
I don't think there's too many people that would guess how it's going to taste.
No, absolutely not. If you're going to boil your fish, you want to pre-cook it. If you happen to have some left over that's already cooked, you could use that.
Even if it was fried or...
That's right. Yep, take the breading off. And you're going to mix that. There it is bubbling great. You're going to mix it with your broccoli. You want to cut it up into little pieces.
Yeah, so you take all the bones out.
Yes, yep. You're going to saute your onions in the meantime, and you want those just a little bit more sauteed. You want them lightly browned, actually. You're going to mix the fish in with the broccoli, minus the bones.
And stir that up. You know, it's amazing how much salmon like this tastes like tuna.
It does, and
Tuna
this
fish.
recipe, it just milded it right out to almost nothing. You're going to put that in the bottom of your casserole dish, and you do want to grease it, and put shredded cheese in here, and this is cheddar, so it's kind of strong.
A little
You could
bit.
use Swiss if you wanted to.
I don't know. This cheddar's mighty good. Mighty good.
Going to add your onions right on top of this with your butter. And everything goes in one dish. That's what's nice about this.
You know, that looks like the end of the recipe right there.
Yep, it would be good just like that.
Put it in the oven. Now, this is weird.
We're going to go ahead and make a crust here.
No,
And-
well,
Well, it's not actually crust
isn't
because
a
it is
crust.
pourable.
It could be a crust.
Bisquick with 1 1/4 cups of milk, 3 eggs.
How fast can you do those, Kath?
Very fast.
Got 3 eggs in there.
And white pepper.
That's for the coloration,
That's
so it
right.
isn't all speckled.
Yep. And generally in white dishes you'll use a white pepper.
And there's that
Mix
white
it all
pepper.
up good. I'm just going to pour this over the top.
Now, it's beginning to appear like a souffle.
Yep, and that's just about what it tastes like when it gets all done here. Going to put this in the oven, and not for very long. It only cooks about 25-30 minutes.
When it comes out,
And then you're going to add tomato slices and cheese on top.
and they come at the very last stage. There they are. In fact, look at this. You know, this has so many attributes to it. It stays hot, so I think you could cook it the day before and it'd still be warm the next day. Here, Bob, here's another. You
thank you,
can
Freddie.
taste all of the ingredients in it.
Separately, you can taste the broccoli by itself.
It sticks together so you don't waste anything.
That's right.
It's like, you know, the spinach souffles.
Yes.
You probably do this recipe with spinach, but this is a complete meal,
Is
all
it?
within itself,
Great
and it's
Sunday night
delicious,
dinner.
just delicious.
You can even taste the egg if you try to. You can taste all the different ingredients.
It's beautiful.
I think this is outstanding, and it's super when you eat the tomato with it.
Oh,
It
yeah,
gives it another flavor
all
altogether.
together, yep.
If you didn't get all the ingredients written down from tonight's recipe, we normally send it to you in a free copy of the Current Outdoor Digest magazine. But since this was a backup show, it's not in this issue. But I'll tell you what.
Newaygo County, 1986. In the spring, neither Bob Garner on the right sitting by the tree, nor Mick Furbish on the left from Muskegon, a guide, turkey hunting guide, had permits to hunt in this area, but we were trying to call turkeys. Show what it's like. Now, Mick there, Bob, is using a mouth call.
Right, he's using a multiple reed mouth call, a double reed, I believe. And I'm using a box call over there to the right. It's a much sharper, louder sound.
We're going to run this sequence. You'll actually hear, there's the box call, actually hear the pace with which you call in a turkey.
You get a pretty good idea of it.
Now, you're calling quite frequently now because you know there's a turkey over the ridge.
We heard a turkey earlier when I used the box call, which carries a long way. We heard a turkey over the ridge, and so we set up to try and call it in.
And the idea behind turkey calling is to make the sound of a hen turkey, to try to bring the gobbler in because it's mating season. There he is. Oh, there's the beard.
Yep.
You can see the beard, that little, almost like hair, horsehair on the breast of the gobbler.
And that's a 2 or 3 year old gobbler. That's a very mature gobbler. probably about 20 pounds.
Now, when a turkey comes in like this, of course, you can't talk back and forth.
No.
You can't move. You
No.
can't scratch your nose. Those eyes that turkey is looking with around the woods, he's looking for the hen. But those eyes are in incredible resolution.
Well, they're about 10 times better than yours or mine, and they can see things moving very, very slowly even. So it's not like a deer where you might be able to move slowly on a bird. You have to make sure that bird can't see if you want to move.
Now you're calling. Now it's gotten down to just little perks.
Yeah, little yelps or clucks or whatever you might call them, but very infrequent at this point.
Ah, he's getting hot.
Definitely got his interest. Definitely got his interest right now. And he's looking for that hen all the time. See him displaying like that? He's looking for that hen. Here's the hen, but he can't see her.
By displaying, when they fan their tail out and puff out their feathers, they're trying to get the hen to admire all that and come over to him.
Right, in nature, that's what happens. See, the hen goes to the gobbler. The gobbler doesn't really go to the hen. And so he's right now trying to get her lured out of wherever she is, where he hears her but can't see her, and get her over to him. And that's what he's doing by gobbling, is he's calling the hen over to him.
But this gobbler is hot.
Oh,
He's hot. He's gobbling a lot. He's a little frustrated that hen is not coming in, but he wants to mate. He is definitely in the mood.
And that's why he's slowing down now. He's not moving great distances at any time because he's waiting to lure her out.
Now you're going to see the camera's going to pull back. OJ is behind you and Mick.
Yes.
And the camera's going to... Oh, he's really getting
That's
hot.
a thrill, too, when you're as close to him as we are.
You're sitting there motionless. There you are. Now look, how far away is that, Bob? How far is that turkey with you?
It's 20 feet at the outside, probably closer to 15.
The problem you'd have if you had a gun on your lap
Right.
is moving that up into position to shoot. You have to be ready before this.
Absolutely. And you have to wait till his head gets behind a tree or something like that. Or sometimes he'll even turn around so that tail fan comes up and they can't see behind him. At that point, you can get ready, too.
Your faces are covered with masks.
Yes,
Of
absolutely.
a mesh so the turkey cannot see your eyes because it could see you blink. It could see the whites of your eyes.
Notice we're not hiding in any blinds here, Fred.
No.
Okay, we're right out in the open. We're just motionless in front of trees or off to the sides of trees.
Now Mick is snugging up next to a tree. See now, since that gobbler started walking away, he's starting to walk away. You're trying to make a few little noises to call him back.
By this time, I've got a sleigh call out, but since it takes two hands to operate, I'm not operating
can't
it
do it.
much. But Mick's using the mouth call right now, and he's just trying to keep him interested.
Now, Mick is doing something else here to try to bring him back. He's scraping his hand behind the trunk of the tree on the ground to imitate a hen scratching for food or walking.
Right.
Trying to call him back because he wants to go over the edge of the hill. He's frustrated.
He is. And if you can see, in the extreme right, there's a decoy just sticking out of the right part of the screen there. And the gobbler knows it's there. He knows it's there, but he's now playing to that decoy.
This is the moment. This is what turkey hunters wait for. This is excitement. You can sit for 20 minutes, a half hour. That's it. Turkey hunter calling turkey, turkey calling back. That's the excitement of turkey hunting in Michigan outdoors.
From the rugged shore and woodlands of the north, its history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fisheries. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around again and all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. Sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you of the beauty in the state of Michigan.